Hey guys, it is a gorgeous day outside, so I figured we'd take our lesson outside today and probably going to record a couple lessons. So we'll see if we can make our best of this weather. I'm sitting on a swing in my backyard, and we're going to see what we can do to help you guys learn about integers. So let's get into it, okay? Integers are basically positive and negative whole numbers. Now, you guys have been working with positive numbers, whole numbers, fractions, decimals. You guys have done all that already. And those are usually what we call real numbers. Those are numbers we kind of encounter in the real world, and they're always positive. And now we're going to break into what I call negative land. And we're going to really kind of talk about how positive numbers and negative numbers work together. So we easily define positive numbers simply as numbers greater than 0. Negative numbers are going to be numbers less than 0. So if I show you on a number line, and this video is not going to have a lot of number line work. I'll put it from my face because there's not enough space otherwise. But positive numbers being the ones greater than 0, negative numbers being the ones less than 0. We actually call 0 itself a neutral number because it's neither positive or negative. Okay, so 1 to infinity are positive, -1 to negative infinity are negative, 0 is what we call a neutral number. We're not going to do a lot with number lines in this video, but we will in our next one. We're just going to focus on understanding positive and negative numbers. So some things that we need to make sure we know about them is that this negative sign actually just means opposite. So if that's what it means, we need to know what opposite means. Now, we know opposite in the general sense of every day, and we say in science that opposites attract, that norths and souths attract to each other, and that the sames repel. In math, opposite just means the same distance from 0 on a number line. So we say that 3 and -3 are opposites because they're both 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 away from 0. Okay, so when we say -3, what we also mean is the opposite of 3. Okay, so let's really kind of break into what that means. I would say that most of us probably have a pretty good understanding of positive numbers already. So let's really try to focus on negative numbers. So the first example I always like to give is I want you guys to hold up 2 fingers on each hand, or 1 finger on each hand, 2 fingers total. And I want you to put them about 5 inches apart. Okay, so whatever you think 5 inches is. Now I want you to put them -5 inches apart. And so probably what's going to happen is most of you are going to do this. And then I'm going to ask you the question, well, aren't this and this the same distance apart? Aren't those both 5 inches apart? So why is this 5 inches and this is -5 inches? Okay, and that has to do with negative numbers are just kind of a representation of a situation that's going on. So we don't really have, there's not a real negative number, it's more so a situation. We tend to think that this is -5 inches apart because they're kind of backwards to each other. It's just like if I was walking, I can't take negative steps. I can only take steps. Okay, now I can take them forward, which makes it a positive step, or I can take them backwards, which is what we think of as a negative step, but they're still negative. Another example I like to give, every day we don't have negative dollar bills. Doesn't exist, right? Now, the difference between +1 and -1 is +1 means I have the $1. It's in my possession. Now, a -$1 would imply that I owe somebody money. Maybe I don't have the dollar bill, but I have to give it to someone. All right, so there's no such thing as negative money, but we have things in bank accounts like negative values, and that's because instead of having the money, we owe the money. So it's beneficial to kind of think of your negative numbers as something you don't have, something you owe. Let's do a couple kind of examples, situations, and I want you to think about what number would represent that. So I got my textbook right here. So we're going to do a couple problems together, okay? So let's say a football team loses 3 yards. Okay, what integer would represent that? Hopefully you're thinking -3. Okay, because if you lose something, it's negative. Okay, What about if someone's climbing 600 feet up a mountain? Okay, now really think about like up versus down. Okay, which one does that kind of imply? Okay, hopefully you think positive 600. Okay, what about if the temperature is 6 degrees below zero? Okay, -6. Okay, because it's below zero, and we talked about that on the number line. Numbers greater than zero are positive, numbers less than zero are negative. Okay, what about if you earn $15 raking leaves? Okay, somebody want to come take care of the leaves in my yard? Social distancing, never mind. All right, so if you earn $15, that means you have it. So that's a positive 15. All right, let's do a couple more. Does anyone know what the word withdraw means? Okay, now the opposite of withdraw is going to be deposit. All right, so you might want to think about those two together. If you're withdrawing money from a bank account, that actually means you're taking the money out of the bank account. Okay, what's going to happen to the value of your bank account? If you take money out, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? It's going to go down. So if I'm withdrawing $42 from my bank account, that would be represented as -42 because my bank account would have gone down $42. Okay. What about if the temperature rises 17 degrees? Kind of like today. It's beautiful outside today. The temperature has really gone up. So if the temperature rises 17 degrees, that's going to be a positive 17. All right, and our last example for this one is going to be you lose 56 points playing a video game. Okay, if you're losing, you're going down, -56 points. Okay. All right, so we're going to end with just kind of a couple real life examples of integers and how we might use them. So we've talked about a couple of them already. We could do values in a bank account, okay, values going up versus values going down. We have temperatures, okay, temperatures above zero, temperatures below zero. Sea level, we talk about sea level and elevation quite a bit, and typically if we say we're above sea level, that's going to be a positive number. If we say we are below sea level, that's typically going to be a negative number. Now, what number do you think represents, like, if you're right at sea level? It's going to be 0, okay? Because 0 is always what we compare our numbers to, okay? Is it more than 0 or is it less than 0? All right, so that's going to conclude this video. Hopefully that helps you kind of get some definitions of positive and negative integers. We're really going to go into number lines in our next example or our next lesson. So hopefully you guys are enjoying some nice weather on these days, and I'll see you next time.